up, guys? Welcome in to From the Nosebleeds, episode, I believe, 136. Yep, 136. Thanks for the help, Pat. I'm just kidding. Anyway, it's Vince again. Vince Tyre here. Pat is back. Seamus still dealing with some personal issues.
He's unfortunately died and passed away.
Yeah, he got so excited that the Phillies clinched the number one seed for the wild card that he didn't even die of anything like serious. Like he drank
himself to death. You
ever seen Star Wars: A New Hope when Obi-Wan just disappears into his robe after he's struck by Darth Vader? That was basically how Seamus died. He faded away to nothing. So, Seamus, we're praying for you. We hope to see you on the other side. And the Phillies, man, we'll start there because it's a roller coaster. We talk about it pretty much every time we come into this studio, and just, every day we talk about it among our friends, how much of a fucking roller coaster being a fan of this team is. And, some of that's baseball and some of that is the curse of being a Philadelphia sports fan. But, we pretty much hit the peak of the roller coaster ride of this season yesterday when the Phillies clinched the number one spot in the wild card, which is great. Sets us up for a matchup against...
The bullpen tried their hardest not to let it happen.
Well, the bullpen always tries their hardest to let us not be happy in some way, shape, or form. Aaron Nola also does his part. I mean, it wasn't a bad start, but...
He did perfect,
We'll talk about how I'm still a little worried about him in the playoffs. Yeah. But for now, it's nothing but happiness. I feel like I'm as happy as Brandon Marsh was riding the bull at PBR and Xfinity Live after the game, which is so fucking funny to see the Phillies just hanging out there. I know they did that last year when they were up on the balcony at Xfinity, but to see Brandon Marsh riding the fucking bull is hilarious, stripping his belt off and shit.
Yeah, that was the weird part.
I love it, bro.
No, I thought he was just gonna fucking strip down, and that would.
I saw that, and I'm just like, where the hell is this going?
I was expecting another item of clothing to come off.
I was expecting at least the shirt to come off. Pop that top, brother. You just made the fucking playoffs.
Exactly.
Is this about to go on some certain sites that it's not appropriate for children?
Yeah, that's only when Seamus is here.
Listen though, we can't take it for granted. The Phillies just clinched the playoffs 2 years in a row. Keep in mind, this franchise is coming off an 11-year playoff drought, so it's just really cool to see them, kind of setting the tone for the opposite. To this team needs to be in the playoffs every year. The way it's built, I mean, I'm happy with the number one wild card, and the Braves are just the Braves. They're so fucking good.
They're a juggernaut, and when you're dealing with a juggernaut like that during the regular season,
I mean, in all honesty, the Phillies should be a juggernaut. I mean, the bullpen is an issue. The starting pitchers, that lineup,
the Braves actually have those issues too, believe it or not. But
no, right, just to a lesser
their lineup
degree.
Is just. Everybody hits every night.
And gets paid nothing for it.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Yeah, because the Braves just figured out the system.
Yeah, they really did figure it out. But in the meantime, it looks like the Phillies will be matched up with most likely either Chicago or Arizona. I think it's fair to say, I'm not even the most confident Phillies fan. If Seamus was here, I think he's way more positive than I am. Sometimes he's
really
negative.
nervous about if we get the D-backs.
See, that's I actually disagree with him. I'm not worried about the wild card round at all. I'm just really not. And I know that might sound contradictory to what I've come on this podcast and said before, but I really worry about the round after, which obviously you might play the Braves. So
yeah,
I don't really fear the Cubs or the Diamondbacks.
I mean, I don't either. I think obviously the Diamondbacks are a little bit better than the Cubs, right? Especially right now. The Cubs are spiraling. Downswing. Yeah. That.
What the fuck was that play last night? That play was
hysterical.
I don't know his name. The outfielder just letting a routine fly ball
go right by
drop
him.
Right next to him.
But yeah, I mean, the Cubs, obviously it'd be nicer to play them. I don't think it's going to happen at this point because the D-backs have been a little bit of a heater, but the Cubs have been just kind of stagnant. They haven't really done much. So, I mean... The other thing, too, though, is, you look at the Phils last year, and it's they were that team that was kind of stagnant, barely made it in, and then they just went on a fucking heater.
Dude, speaking of which, I'm so glad you said that because, how nice does it feel that they aren't, falling backwards into the playoffs? They're there, they secured the number one wild card spot, and, they're going in, pretty strong. Obviously, the game tonight, the lineup is dog shit because
I can't wait to watch Rodolfo Castro play for the next week.
I can't wait to watch Garrett Stubbs play tonight, violently hungover, most likely. Listen, he sucks, but the vibes are kind of priceless.
No,
so.
I mean, he's fine because he's a good defensive catcher. He's whatever when he comes to bat. He had pop last year. He hasn't really shown it this year.
He's been bad.
But at the same time, you're only seeing him maybe twice a month.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because JT's like, I want to play.
It's really
every day.
not
He's
the
a
biggest
fucking
deal.
psycho.
The Phillies, speaking of which, go down 1-0 in the first.
Perfect.
Fucking whatever.
Who cares?
Who cares?
Who gives
But
a
like,
fuck?
you just can't replace Stubbs in the locker room, and I know some people like overdo it. Like, oh, I wouldn't include him in this trade, or like if there's a trade to be made for a better player, like you include Stubbs. But like, he is. I know that we joke about Rhys Hoskins because his staunch defenders will be like, he's so important to this club, but like Garrett Stubbs really is like kind of the glue of the vibes, it feels like.
Yeah.
Which is so funny.
He's the life of the party every time. Like, you saw him in the middle, he fucking immediately sprinted back there, threw the overalls on. Like,
that was
absolute
funny
psycho.
as shit.
Like, he's literally just like me on a night out. Like,
yeah, like literally. O'Leary on a night out is hilarious because like if I close my eyes and imagine a typical O'Leary night out, there's one specific night maybe 2 years ago we were at a bar in Manayunk and there was a live band and Pat just got shirtless and went on stage and he basically started a mosh pit on the stage with the band.
Luckily it wasn't a band, it was a DJ.
Oh,
and
DJ,
he was playing Gimme Gimme Gimme, which is one of my favorite songs by
Pat
ABBA.
popped his Pat, as he often does. If you know Pat O'Leary, find him at a tailgate in the summer, his top's coming off.
Yeah.
It just is what it is.
I sweat too much.
What the hell?
Yeah, I sweat too much.
Listen, you gotta. I love when people have like a signature move, and Pat's signature move is to pop his top off and put the pit vipers on.
Yeah,
and I just like that. I like that you have a signature move. It's cool. Like that's O'Leary's thing. If I did that, someone would be like, "Why the fuck are you copying O'Leary?" And I respect the shit out of that. But anyway, back to the Phillies. Rob Thompson said, unsurprisingly, Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola will start Tuesday and Wednesday. He also says that they will go closer by committee. I feel like that's also not a surprise. Being Kimbrel is just inconsistent, and you have Alvarado, and we'll see how that goes. And then lastly, he said that Bryce Harper will play first in the playoffs, which is huge.
Yeah, I mean, you need him there every day. You need him there.
Absolutely,
man, I don't care if it's a righty on the mound. I don't care if it's a lefty on the mound.
You cannot have Kyle Schwarber in the field under any circumstances.
Like,
it can't happen.
You just see how much better the lineup is. Not even the lineup, the defense.
Absolutely.
Is when Kyle Schwarber's not on the field. Like Brandon Marsh, like getting like game-winning catches when he's like sprinting over to the corner to catch a ball in the 9th inning. And it's like Kyle Schwarber, that would have been a triple. Like, I forget what game that was. It was like a week or two ago, but like Marsh caught one that was like he was sprinting to the corner, and I'm just sitting there like, God damn, if Kyle Schwarber was in, then that would have been a triple, and we would have probably
and vice versa.
Yeah.
There have been plenty of plays that Kyle Schwarber has allowed and left that it's like, fuck, dude, if Brandon Marsh or Pat Shea were there, like that's plays made. The game is over. I can't remember what game it was. There was specifically a game that Kyle Schwarber like kind of lost us and left. I can't remember. But I also the Phillies go down 2-0. That's okay. It's still the first inning. I did a little bit of a segment on this last podcast about Rhys Hoskins, but I just want to nail the head on the hammer here, or hammer the head of the nail. I don't know how the fuck to say that phrase, but anyway, you get what I'm trying to say. Rhys Hoskins, like, if Bryce Harper plays very well at first in this postseason, like, it just furthers the point that like we don't need Rhys back.
You don't need him. What's he going to do? Play right field?
And listen, I'm sure that a lot of people listen to this podcast and think like, oh my God, these fucking dudes hate Rhys Hoskins.
I do.
Let me clear it up.
No, I do.
I don't hate Rhys Hoskins is like, I think this is the best way I can describe it because she's in the news right now. Rhys Hoskins is to me what a lot of people like view Taylor Swift as. I don't think they hate Taylor Swift. I think they hate her fans so much because they're annoying as fuck, and I agree. And like I think that the fans turn them off to the artist. And in the same way I feel about Rhys Hoskins, like I do not hate him, but it comes off like I do because of how fucking annoying his staunch defenders are, in that he could do no wrong and you can't trade him for anybody and he's got to be back under no circumstances. Like, Rhys Hoskins fans are the Swifties of the Philadelphia Phillies fans.
That was a very Seamus statement that you just made.
I'm a fucking Swiftie myself, but I feel like people that hate her just base it off of the fans, and that's kind of how I feel about Rhys Hoskins.
So you would have a problem with him coming back because there's rumors are that he can possibly make a postseason. He can come back in the postseason.
I don't want to see him in the postseason.
I have no desire.
I don't feel like having a guy who's hot or cold coming in, having not played at all this season, like being rusty and starting in the lineup.
He's not Kyle Schwarber. Kyle Schwarber was a guy that did that, can do that.
Yeah.
And it's been proven. But, like, I can't see Rhys Hoskins coming in. Like, I feel like he'd come in, strike out, and that like set the tone for the rest of his at-bats.
Yeah,
because they're going to DH him if he comes in at all. And then at that point, what are you doing?
Rhys got hurt in the offseason, right? It was in the offseason, right, that he got hurt?
It was spring training.
Spring training. So the last time we saw Rhys Hoskins in like an actual MLB like season, he was 1 for 26 against the Astros in the World Series. Mm-hmm. So like I'm okay for now.
My
Hold
thing,
off.
My thing is like honestly with him, like he's not good defensively.
No, he's
We
a
know
butcher.
that. Like there's no reason to have him at DH. Like
No, because you
if
need
you
Kyle
have,
there.
Yeah, if you have Kyle Schwarber, you need him in the lineup. Like for this, we're not even talking about next season. Just for this postseason, you need Kyle Schwarber in that lineup because he sets the tone offensively every time, pretty much. But one game, almost maybe 2 games every series is
Kyle
hit a
Schwarber
leadoff
can
home
also
run.
hit sub 200 and still be 1,000 times the player Rhys Hoskins
Yeah,
is.
and it's like we don't need 2 Kyle Schwarbers essentially. We don't. And
Yeah,
it's like
pretty much too. Dude, remember the portions of the season, I guess last year, when it was Kyle and Rhys at the top of the lineup?
it was horrific.
Segments of the season where Rhys was cold, it was an automatic 2 outs most of the time at the top of the lineup, or it was like a home run, from Kyle. But most of the time, it was you go up. I think Bryce was batting third at that point. It was like, oh, here comes Bryce up to bat with 2 outs again.
No, I mean Rhys, like he isn't good. Like he's just genuinely.
Clip that part. Just Rhys
good.
Hoskins just isn't good.
Like people think he's really good.
I
They
get
pull
it.
out all these fucking
They-
stats, and
'cause
it's like, yeah,
people-
but watch the guy fucking play.
Because at the end of the day, the most natural human emotion is love, I think. And people just want to love Rhys
love
Hoskins
dumb.
because he is a homegrown guy here. And he was one of the only ones we had for a long, long time.
Well, no. He was one of the only ones that was producing.
One of the only ones that was good that we had. Right, okay.
We had a shitload of
Correction.
them in the fucking 11-year drought. It's just none of them were good.
He was one of the only ones that turned out. Him and Aaron Nola. So people hold him tight. But it's like, feel free to let go now and like look through the actual lens of reality, because now we have some other homegrown guys, like I said last podcast. So maybe like take those rose-colored glasses off and be like, oh wow, Rhys Hoskins actually isn't that good.
The worst part to me is like I do genuinely like the guy as a person.
Yeah, he seems like a fine person.
He's a phenomenal guy. He's just a dog shit player.
Yeah.
Like I don't
And at
need
the end
that
of the
on
day,
my
this is
team.
a fucking business. And I lost my shit in the middle of the season when Paul Goldschmidt rumors are flying around and fuckers are like, nah, dude, can't give up Rhys. Can't fuck. It wasn't even give up
No, it was
Rhys.
boom.
Can't even fuck over Rhys like that. Like bringing Rhys as replacement. Oh my god. I don't want to spend too much more time on Rhys Hoskins. He affects nothing on this team right now. But anyway, just like
right now he's good for the vibes.
yeah,
I'll
sure.
take those.
Overall, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most excited, 1 being the least, like where are you at for the playoffs right now? Like your expectations, like what you think's gonna happen here.
11.
You're an 11.
I mean, I get fucking excited as shit every
Yeah,
year
it's
for the
kinda hard.
playoffs. Like
Even someone like
Especially-
me who's down on them.
it's just
usually.
like, especially like every year, like we went through 11 years of no playoffs, and it's like this, like Phillies playoffs brings me back to my childhood.
I was
literally.
just
Like,
about to say.
I remember being in 6th grade in 2008, watching Brad Lidge strike out that final person.
Right.
And then the 7th grade teacher at our school got fired because that night she was dancing on a fucking bus stop up the street from me in her fucking panties.
Whoever fired her should be fired themselves. What
And she was hot,
what
too.
loser energy. And she was hot. Come on. Losers.
But,
Dude,
Catholic grade school.
I was just about to say the same thing as you. Like, there's something about Red October that is so fucking nostalgic to me. Like, the Eagles are my number 1 baby in this city, but like even them making the playoffs doesn't give me the same like warm feeling inside that the Phillies do, because like you said, growing up, it was mostly Phillies in this city. Like they were the best team for the majority of my youth. So like Red October was everything, and like just them clinching last night, like it just brings you back to that, and like it just makes you feel like a child again, and it's awesome.
I remember being a freshman in high school when they won the World Series.
Yeah.
And a lot of the kids skipped out to go to the parade, and the
Hell yeah.
teachers didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like that's how big
As
that
they
shit
should.
was. And it was
Philly.
It was a really cool experience. And like you guys said, just they were consistently good when I was a teenager, when I was in high school.
Right.
So to finally see them make the playoffs back-to-back years, like this is exciting.
They're cooking a little bit.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It's
It's like they figured something out finally.
It's nice to see them right the ship, right? Because, for so long, it's such an easy franchise to make fun of when they're in the middle of an 11-year playoff drought. But, like,
But
I don't
real
know.
quick.
Go
Going
ahead.
off what Ty was just saying about the parade last time, I will never forgive my mother. I had a doctor's appointment because the parade was on All Saints Day, I think, which was everybody was off anyway for Catholic school. And I had a doctor's appointment. I had to get like my flu shot or something. And I was like, Mom, I don't want to go to the doctor's appointment. I want to go to the parade. Dad said he'll take me down if you say I don't have to go to my doctor's appointment. And she's like, no. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm in like 6th grade, literally like crying. because
that's
I'm like,
the moment.
Mom, I want to go to the Phillies parade. I went to the doctors in my Phillies like gear and everything because my dad was like, maybe if we get it done early enough, I can take you down. I was like, it's not gonna happen. But like,
that's the moment where you run away as a child. You run away. You grab one of those little sacks and you just run.
I literally,
that's some movie shit.
I still tell my mom to this day that I'll never forgive her for that. I'm not joking. I literally when they
wouldn't
made the
either.
when they made the run last year, I was like, guess what, Mom? I'm gonna take off of work if they win and they get a parade because guess what? I didn't get to go to the last fucking one.
Oh, dude.
And she goes every time. She's like, I just should have let you skip the doctor's appointment. It was just a physical. I should just let you skip it.
Just a stupid fucking physical. But like, I feel like I'm at the point now where like I kind of just want to throw like all my like technical analysis out the window because I'm so overcome with like hope and it's so funny because it's most likely just there to be torn away from me and stomped and spit on in front of my face. But I'm so full of optimism and like hope and like just genuine joy right now because the Phillies are in the playoffs. And like, that's all I want. I don't want to talk about how they'll probably lose to the Braves. Fuck that. I want to believe that they'll beat the Braves, even though deep down I know they won't.
10 home runs a game, baby.
So I'm just
motoring through them. 5 games.
I'm just putting my blind fandom cap on for this playoffs because really, that's the fucking point of being a fan, man. I feel like, listen, we're sitting here, we are podcasters, so like I'm kind of being hypocritical, but I feel like so many people get too indulged with like podcasts and sports radio, like, and all the technicalities of shit and like this is this and that's that. Like sometimes people just forget like to be a fan. Sometimes just be dumb. Be stupid. Blindly believe in a team that doesn't fucking deserve it. Like that. That's
what happened last year.
I know, but I'm just saying.
Look,
like,
I mean, it worked out pretty well.
The highs and the lows are what being a fan is all. Like, what fun is it? And listen, we do this all year. And again, I'm being hypocritical because of what we're on a podcast right now. But like, what fun is it for me to sit here and be like, yeah, great, the Phillies made the playoffs. They're just going to lose to the Braves. Like, that's not fun. Like, I want to have fun. Like, I might believe that, like, deep down, but I'm going to do my best to bury that and just have a good fucking time.
So I've got a question for you.
Go ahead.
Are you going to apply that logic to the Sixers?
with the Sixers, it's tough.
This is where I wish we had sound drops on this show.
With this, okay. I actually feel like that's a good transition. So we can move on from the Phillies.
Well, it was until you said it.
Okay, the Sixers. It's a little bit harder for me to do that because, like, yeah, the Phillies missed the playoffs 11 years in a row, but like at least there was a ton of success before that. Like, I was born in 1999. The Sixers went to the finals in 2001 and have sucked ever since. Well, I guess they haven't sucked like in the recent years, but you get what I'm saying. Me growing up, my first exposure to like really knowing the team was like Iguodala and Drew Holiday, Lou Will. Like they were fine. I fucking hope we'll talk about that in a second because I want to talk about that trade. But like, they were fine, and then it was the process. Like they suck. So like there's no basis of success for me to fall back on with the Sixers. Like at least with the Phillies, it could be like 11 years playoff drought, but like hey, at least they won the series in 08 and like they went back in 09. The Sixers have just been nothing for my whole life.
They've been consistent second round exits.
I grew up in the AI era, so
lucky you.
I got to see like the greatness of Allen Iverson. But I do feel sorry for the guys.
I was
like
2 years old, man.
Who came after Iverson and had to suffer.
It's been brutal
through the mediocre play from the Iguodala years to the process years.
Yep.
Like I feel so bad for you guys.
It went starting there. It went mediocre era to the process era, which is nothing but failure and losing, which, you know, whatever, it made sense at the time. And now we're in an era of just constant disappointment. Mm-hmm. Constant disappointment. And that kind of brings me into the point I want to talk about here, which is big NBA.
Morey is a liar?
Oh, well, we can talk about that first, yeah. James Harden continues the saga of being like the most unintentional, funniest person in the world by going to a club. Where was it? Was it in Houston?
Yeah.
A fucking court. What a
party in Houston.
He is such a fucking loser. But anyway, he had bottle girls, and you know they bring the signs out with the flaring champagne bottles, and it said Daryl Morey is a liar. I mean,
So
it's funny. It's funny as shit. But like then when you think about the fact this is a grown ass man, it's like actually this is kind of sad. I
think it's funny. I don't even care.
It's funny, but like
I don't
in
even
context.
care. I mean, I'm also at the point where I don't care about the Sixers that much. So
yeah,
it's
you're completely right about that. It's hard, and then it's hard for me to care even more because today, huge NBA news breaks the internet. You know, Woj and Shams getting their tweets off. Dame Lillard to the Bucks. Drew Holiday in that deal got shipped over to Portland. I don't know the exact trade details. You can go find it on their page. But like Dame Lillard is on the Bucks now. And that just makes me give even less of a fuck about the Sixers because they stand no chance against that team.
We know who's going to win the chip this year.
It looks like it, dude. Listen, I'm putting bias aside because I'm going to be honest with you. I like the rivalry we have with the Bucks. Like, I thought Giannis sitting on our logo that one time was awesome. Like, obviously, like as a fan, you're like, oh fuck it, but that's like the awesome part of sports. Like, it's harmless rivalry banter that's fun. It's not like that. It's not that right. It's not that serious. So like, I actually respect Giannis. I respect the Bucks because like, I'd rather Dame go there than like fucking Miami or LA. Yeah. Like, I don't want those shitty fan bases to have the satisfaction of always getting the best players.
LA is in Lakers? Aren't you a Lakers fan?
Well, I like LeBron. But I at this point, I don't even need LeBron to win anymore.
He's not gonna, so you're fine there.
Probably not going to. No, he's fucking 40 years old. But anyway.
Are you discounting your boy?
No. Listen, shut the fuck up. I'm just happy Dame Lillard didn't go to there. I'd rather him go to a small market team like Milwaukee. Like, at least if they win, I can like be like, oh, that's kind of cool for Milwaukee, to a small market team.
Yeah, but they already got one.
We're certainly not getting one, Pat, so what the fuck do I care about who wins it? I might as well root for a small market team. The chances of the Sixers winning the NBA title just went from 0 to 0 because they didn't have a chance before this trade either, in my humble opinion. But like, again, bias aside, that's going to be a fun ass duo to watch. They are going to be electric because their play styles kind of match up like perfectly.
Yeah.
Dame's a guy you have to pick up from half court on. He'll hit shots from nearly half court, and then Giannis is a guy, if you're not doubling him, he's blowing right by you. So it's going to be kind of a nightmare for teams to defend that duo. I'm sure Dame's going to be throwing a lot of lobs to Giannis. Mm-hmm. I'm sure they'll beat the Sixers by 100 on opening night when we have to play them, which of course we have to play them on opening night. Of course.
No. They're not going to beat us by 100 because Drew Holiday's going to be on the team.
200.
And then he's going to just lock down Dame all night, and Embiid's going to lock down Giannis, and then Brook Lopez is going to put 50 on our heads.
Yeah. Brook Lopez, low-key, is the unsung hero of that team.
Bro, the fact that man is so goddamn tall and can shoot threes at the clip he's
just good.
Insane.
I feel like he might genuinely be the most underrated NBA player right now. I actually think that because like he's one of the best centers. Like he's not like Joel or like Jokic, but like he is solid as fuck for the role that he is in.
No, yeah, I mean, and he can also, he's like one of those guys that can just randomly pop off for like 20 plus any night.
He's one of those guys that in an annoying playoff game when like Giannis is torching you at the end of the game, he'll hit like 2 threes to put the dagger in you. Like that's the kind of player Brook Lopez is. But I
think low key the Suns kind of made out like bandits in that trade.
Who did they even end up with? I didn't see.
They got off the Ayton contract.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
It's awesome. They brought in Nurkic, which is like a perfect replacement for Ayton, honestly. And then they just brought in a bunch of like no names, basically. So it's like
I forgot that till this very moment the Suns have Bradley Beal.
Yeah. They're gonna be
I know they have no depth, but they're gonna be fucking. They're going to be nice. That's a big 3 right there.
I mean, if I was them, I just wouldn't play anybody. Like, just do what the Sixers should also do, and just don't play anybody until like halfway through the season.
Yeah, Joel Embiid shouldn't even touch an NBA floor till Christmas, if we're being honest. Because
season opener be the Christmas Day game.
Nah, but like in all seriousness, like just getting negadelphia again, which is what we always do here. Like, I don't know. I can't bring myself to give a fuck about this NBA season. Like, I love basketball, but I mainly mean through a Sixers lens. Like, how am I supposed to get up and, like, be excited about this season when, like, I know that there's no chance this team is succeeding at anything?
Because we're getting Drew back.
Okay, so Kyle Neubeck did confirm that there are reports out there that the Sixers are looking to inquire about Drew Holiday's availability.
What they freaking do?
Yeah. I mean, listen, dude, I'm not going to lie to you. Would I love Drew Holiday on the Sixers? Absolutely. Do I think Drew Holiday puts us over the edge? No, absolutely not. Drew Holiday does not come into this team and change the loser culture that we have had for almost a decade.
But we have Nick Nurse now.
He's
and
like the one.
B-ball Paul.
Do you think
a new contract?
Do you think Nick Nurse is regretting his decision?
Oh yeah, definitely.
He has to be because he came and then this whole Harden thing. I
could get him on the horn. He lives right over here in media.
Yeah, that's fine. let's bring him on and ask him his opinion. But like, yeah, sure, bring Drew back. He was my favorite player when he was on the team. Yeah. But like, aside from like nostalgic purposes,
I just want to see him and Maxey on a team together.
They would be a great defensive. They're going to be a great defensive team if Drew comes. But like.
When Drew comes, we're going to speak into existence.
But like this team,
the only thing I have to look forward to this year.
Does Drew Holiday make this team any younger and faster? Nope. And that's the two things
Faster,
this team
yes.
lacks most.
Faster, yes.
Who's Drew Holiday? Drew Holiday's not.
He's faster than James Harden.
Well, yes. Oh, okay. Well, yeah. That's like
Especially
the
when
bar is on the fucking floor.
Yeah,
The bar is on the
Harden's
floor.
coming into the season. You already know.
It don't take too much to be faster than James.
Yeah,
No, James
exactly.
Harden. I don't need to beat a dead horse here, but all he does is hold the ball for 18 seconds and either pop a step back or fling it to someone in the corner. That's why I've always said I think he was an overrated playmaker in his time on the Sixers so far. But regardless, like he already, they said he's not coming to media day like of who thought he was. But like I'm still, and I keep coming on this podcast and saying it, and like I still don't understand this section of people that are talking themselves into him like turning a new leaf. It's not happening, man.
No,
Give
it's
up.
not.
Give up on that fairy tale dream. I said last week, this, in my opinion, has the makings to be even worse than his exits from Houston and Brooklyn because of the personal aspect of it. He feels personally betrayed by Daryl Morey. So he is not going to just roll over and be like, yeah, I'm going to play my heart out for the Sixers because I know that I need a contract. No, he's not. He's simply not going to do that. And I'm not going to spend any more time talking about this bullshit team. They signed Kelly Oubre. Woo!
I do really like that.
I mean, I
signing,
like
I'm
that.
not gonna lie.
See, like, I like these signings, but it's nothing that's going to put them over the edge, in my
No.
opinion. Like, it's not big enough. Like, you're
It's
not
just
gonna,
vibes, guys.
like
and I love it.
the Celtics are too good for us. The Bucks are now way too good for us. Like, obviously, the East is a little weak outside of them, but like, I don't know. I feel nothing about the Sixers right now. I just feel nothing.
You forgot to mention that Big Bad Ben Simmons is coming back for the Nets this year too. So they're going to be a pretty big
Yeah,
powerhouse.
I did forget about that.
Mikal Bridges, Ben Simmons, Cam Johnson, bro.
Yo,
That's
Mikal Bridges is dangerously horny on
that's a
Instagram.
fucking like 7 seed.
You
That's
seen-
like insane right there.
you seen Mikal Bridges in Asia Wilson's Instagram comments?
No.
She posted some shit. I think she won her Defensive Player of the Year award, or I think so. It was in the WNBA, and she posted like the caption said, I love that D fence." And Mikal Bridges commented like, "Oh yeah." she was like, "Are you lost?" And then what's his name? Donovan Mitchell was like, "Bro, you need to get your shit together." I feel like this is not the first time he's done that either. It cracks me up. Dude is just horny on man.
It's because he's from here.
Yeah, exactly. I think there was a couple months ago. It might have been Asia Wilson he was trying to flirt with again in the comments, or like another person, but I'm fairly certain that person got Mikal Bridges confused with Miles Bridges because I'm pretty sure they made up or they brought up like the domestic violence thing, and he was like, "What?" I'm like pretty sure. Someone fact check me on that, but that was funny as shit. But yeah, I got nothing. The Bucks are most likely going to steamroll the East, go to the finals. It'll probably be Bucks Suns again. Wow, actually that'll be a rematch from a couple years ago. I didn't even put that together. Great. Anyway,
Predictable.
yeah, moving on from that, Pat, you have not been in one of these chairs since the NFL season started.
I know.
I got to come last week and break down the first 2 weeks, because we hadn't been here in a little while. So we're coming off a week 3 victory against the Bucks on Monday Night Football. And how are you feeling, man?
I mean, the Eagles looked a hell of a lot better than they did the first 2 weeks. Put it that way. Like you got 2 picks from Jalen, but like, in the grand scheme of things, they won the game. They beat up on a bad team, which is what they should be doing. Defense looked good. Like, not really a lot to complain about besides 2 picks.
Yes.
But it's like, at the same time, it's like,
Speaking on like Jalen's like stats, I just want to read this tweet word for word. It's a quote from an interview or a press conference Jalen did with the media. The reporter said, "We might look at QB and say, well, he threw 330 yards, 3 touchdowns, and his team lost, but wins aren't a QB stat, so it's not his fault they lost. But you seem to not really care about any of that stuff, and it's just about, did the Eagles win? Did they not win? How'd you get to that point?" Jalen Hurts said, "By losing." I just love quotes like that. Like, he really just sums up like what it means to be like a winner and like a good, I don't want to say role model because they're grown men, but like good leader on the team. Like,
good teammate.
Good teammate, right? Like, he knows that it's not about his performance. Like, yeah, he went out there and threw 2 picks, and I'm sure he more than anyone is beating himself up, realizing he needs to be better, which he does. I think people have gone a little overboard, like being like, "Oh my God, he's regressing right in front of our." Fucking relax, okay? But like, I just like that he understands that it's bigger than his numbers, and it's bigger than, obviously we all want him to win an MVP. He was so close last year, but like, I just like that he's got a longer vision than that. And I know that might sound hypocritical because we all like clamored for Embiid to win MVP, but like, I feel like
because we knew nothing else was going to happen.
Exactly. It's two different scenarios, but like, just comments. Jalen's always, I know it's just him, but it's almost like he's got the perfect fucking response for every time they toss a question towards him. And like, it's just so cool to like have a guy on your team that just exudes like confidence and like winner shit, like not loser shit, because we're so used to losers.
Yeah, I mean, you look back at a guy like Carson Wentz, it was like, literally, like he would say one thing to the media and then be bitching and complaining about the entire team to everybody.
Every
else.
fucking week, Carson Wentz would play like dog shit. He would just say, "I got to be better. I got to be better." It was just generic answers. I got to be better. I got to be better. I feel like Jalen like actually gives you like things. Like it's not just I got to be better. I got like you're a robot. It's like getting in depth about like what you got to do and why you quote unquote failed in that aspect or whatever. Whereas Carson, like I said, was just robotic with like his I just got to be better.
Well, also the difference is though when Carson said it, it was like okay, but you're still doing the same dumb
exactly.
shit. Yeah. If Jalen says I got to do better, I'm believing that he's actually going to look at the tape and he's going to do better
because he's got a crazy work ethic. And like while we're on the topic of Jalen, before we like break down the game, which I'm not going to break down the whole game, but like you know what I mean. But I want to talk real quick about the controversy, the quote unquote controversy behind whatever you want to call it, the tush push or the brotherly shove, which I'm a big fan of that.
I'm a big fan of brotherly shove, yes.
But like the controversy has been drummed up for over a season now because last year at the end of the year they debated whether they were going to make that play illegal, and now you have pundits like Nick Wright and fucking. Chris Sims, who is a psychopath, by the way, who said that, I'll read the quote in a second, but like these guys are on their networks talking about how this should be illegal and all these fans are crying about it. And like, I just want to know what your guys' opinion is on all this because I'll get mine off in a second.
I mean, I don't really give a shit, honestly.
No, who gives a fuck? But like,
because most people that are coming out are like, it's a play. It's a football play. Like,
anyone can do it.
Yeah, anyone can do it.
Like it's
you
not
guys are
just
mad that the Eagles are executing it to perfection every time.
It's annoying because it's like, oh, this team is really good at this and better than everyone else. Make it illegal. It's like, okay, well then should we make throwing to Tyreek Hill illegal? Because he's better than everybody, so that's not fair. Like, come on, dude.
Travis Kelce jumping, that should be illegal too.
Also, I feel like
he has to play at his born height.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like a lot of people also don't take into account, like, yeah, the pushing like helps, but if you didn't have anyone pushing Jalen, he's still getting through that.
Yeah.
The line is so good and Jalen is so strong that he's getting through regardless. So like to me, all these fucking teams and people crying about it, it just sounds like a skill issue. Maybe get a better line and a stronger QB.
Who's ever's still bitching and moaning about this whole tush push thing, shut the hell up. Okay,
right.
Seriously, get, like you said, get better offensive linemen and
build
shut the hell up. Get you a quarterback that can bench squat 600 pounds and shut the hell up. Because the reality is this. First couple of weeks, and we saw it. We actually saw a couple teams try to do the tush push,
and
it didn't fucking work for them. Shut up because you can't do it.
Exactly. It's like, it's not like this is by accident. This is by like design. Like the fucking Eagles build up the trenches. They've been doing so for years. It's what the team is built on. It's the foundation of this team. There's two things you can always count on with the Eagles: a great O-line and a great D-line, because they draft the trenches and they build them up. And Jeff Stoutland is the best position coach maybe in NFL history. So building up this line is exactly what we always meant to do, and we're just taking advantage of all the work and like talent we've put into our O-line. So if other teams are jealous that we can run this play and they can't, do the same thing. Invest in the trenches the way the Eagles do. Find your Jeff Stoutland. Find your quarterback who can squat 600 pounds. Until then, simply stop bitching, because this is a normal play. It's not going to go away because we're good at it and you're not.
The one thing that I did find funny, that there was one time where it didn't work this week.
Yeah, there was. And then didn't they follow it up the very next play?
Yes,
and it worked.
Obviously. But,
hey, listen.
But it's like
92% of the time.
Exactly. It doesn't work every time. You're going to ban it? It doesn't work every time.
92% of the time, as Jason and Travis like to say on New Heights.
Yep.
But the Chris Sims quote I was talking about, he was commenting on the brotherly shove,
man.
Which, by the way, before I even say the quote, he has like some kind of deeper hatred for Jalen Hurts, because I think Jalen's last year, he didn't even have Jalen in like his top 40 quarterbacks or some shit like that. And now like and then when Jalen like was succeeding, he was downplaying it every week on whatever fucking show. I don't even know what show he's on. Every clip I've ever seen of Chris Sims has been against my will because it blows up on Twitter because he says something stupid about Jalen. But he said, quote, "If I was a defensive coach, I'd be saying, go headhunting on the QB here. Go crazy. Try to kill the QB. That's what I do. I don't mean it like that. I don't mean kill him, but make him pay. Make him think twice about it." Like, okay, I'm not going to sit here and like be triggered and be like, oh my God, he's advocating for them to kill Jalen. I know what he means. But like to say go headhunting for him is completely a fucking asinine thing to say.
Yeah, thank God that fucking moron's not a head coach or a defensive coordinator because
you don't know shit.
Like that's some Sean Payton type shit right there.
Right. He was saying in the clip like jump over the line and try to take the quarterback out. It's
so my thing is this: you don't think teams are actually scheming and thinking about that?
Right.
You don't think for 1 second teams have actually tried to do that? And let me tell you something right now: cheap shot Jalen. Please see what happens to you on that field.
Yeah,
cheap shot him. I dare you.
You're getting fucked up.
Watch Jordan Mailata's big ass just come up and just start manhandling your entire sideline like Jason Peters did with Nick Foles. Please do it.
Chris Sims acted like he's the first person to think like, wait a second. What if the way to stop it is to go after the quarterback? It's like, no shit, Chris. Like, what a football mind you are. It's people like Chris Sims that piss me off that like he has a national audience and like a show because it's like he don't know shit about football. He didn't even rank Jalen like within his top 40 or 30 QBs last year. Like, I don't give a fuck that Jalen hadn't had his MVP season yet. Like, that's absurd. Anyway, I don't want to spend any more time on that specific idiot, but like in general, like this conversation just needs to die because it's so annoying. It's annoying, but also it's kind of funny because I do love watching other fan bases cry like about it. Like just because they can't stop it, it's like all you can do is get on Twitter and cry about it, and they can't replicate it. Yeah, so all in all, just get better the rest of the league. But anyway, the actual game itself, yeah, a lot better than the first 2 weeks. Still things to be improved on, but
yeah, I mean, still like some of the play calling.
DeAndre Swift.
God, that man's a fucking demon.
He is
I've noticed since I first saw him play at prep too. It was like, fuck. Watch that kid literally won us 3 straight state championships, like by himself.
I was on the sideline for Roman Catholic watching him tear us up, so I know all about Swift. Dude, he's incredible, and him running behind this O-line is like a cheat code, man, because
literally
they open up holes, and he, like, you know, not to shit on Miles Sanders because I did like him, but he could miss a hole if it was staring him right in the face, and DeAndre Swift is way more proficient at hitting those holes. My only complaint is that even in this last game, I feel like I saw too much Gainwell. It's not that I don't want to see any Gainwell. Like, I do want Gainwell to be mixed in, but I feel like we need more Swift. Like, I want Swift to get the ball in any important down.
My only concern there is like
he
obviously,
gets hurt, he's got injury history
throughout his entire career. It's been if you're trying to make him a workhorse back, then like he's gonna get hurt.
Yeah.
So it's like you got to mix him in. Like
maybe I need to calm down.
Probably a little bit too much Gainwell, realistically, but like also throw him in there. Who the fuck cares? Like you're up that much, especially like throw him in there.
Yeah, I agree with Pat, but at the same time, like Kenny Gainwell's not getting it done for me. Like, I don't see the same explosiveness that we saw at the end of the season.
Yeah.
So what's the deal with Rashad Penny at this point?
I mean, he also looks ass every time he's in. So it's like
I mean, honestly,
we're very limited. But
am I crazy for thinking at this point, like out of the other 3 running backs, I'd rather see Boston Scott getting more touches?
That's not a crazy far-fetched thing.
Kenny isn't really doing it for me this season so far.
Problem is he's got to rest up till the Giants game.
That's true. Yeah. Rashad Penny doesn't.
I mean, that's at the end of the year. By that time, we'll have the division locked up.
Exactly.
Shit about the Giants.
He could run the whole game.
Like, I'm not even, like at this point, I would rather see Boston Scott getting carries than Kenny Gainwell.
No, I agree.
It's again, it's not that I never want Gainwell in the game, but like I'd rather see Boston getting, like you just said, he's shiftier. He's a little like he's faster. I believe. Like I don't know. I just rather see him in the game. But to start off the game, Jalen and AJ Brown seemingly addressed their quote-unquote issue, which, you know, we talked about last week. That was a fucking fabricated thing. But, like, Jalen was firing to AJ all night, and AJ dropped a couple touchdowns, which sucks. Would have been really nice to see him get one. But he had a hell of a game. He had well over 100 yards, I believe.
31.
Yeah, I mean, he looked amazing. That's really all I got to say about that. Devontae Smith, good as always. Goddard getting involved. Yeah. Everyone was just solid, really. I mean, like, no one really, like, stood out except for Swift, and everyone just did their role. You know, Jalen with a couple stupid turnovers, but it's fixable. It's still early in the season. Still, you know, I don't really know if you can pin it on gelling with a new offensive coordinator, but, you know, I'll keep using that excuse for the next couple weeks every time the Eagles play bad. But we're still getting used to it. But defensively, shut down. Jalen Carter.
Jalen Carter, man.
Jalen Carter has done miracles on me, man.
Else.
Is it crazy to say Jalen Carter through, I'm not the first person to have this take, but we're 3 games in. He's been the best player on the team.
Oh, easily.
Like, I don't even think, it's not even close. Yeah. Like, he is the team MVP through 3 games. He is unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it.
Like Joe Buck called him a star in the making. No, he's
He
a
already
fucking
is.
star.
Dude, like
He
I don't
already
want to get like too crazy or like do any, put too much pressure on a guy to live up to the standard, but like he looks like Aaron Donald out there. Like
Seriously.
like
Yeah.
literally, he looks
Yeah.
like a young Aaron Donald. It's just crazy that we ended up getting him, man, and thank God. And then you got Jordan Davis next to him, who's turning it. I mean, he was good last year, but he's like great this year.
I think the best part about Davis is like you gave him a full off season with more Georgia guys, so
Yeah.
like that little bit of confidence he probably lost getting hurt last
And, like,
year. And
there
then,
have been like
you
plenty
know,
of beat writers like saying like they feel like Jordan has kind of emphasized that like being able to work with some guys that he was like very close with, like has helped him like
Yeah.
progress as a player because he's
Yeah.
surrounded by guys he like actually loves. Like in one of those press conferences, like he said to Jalen, like I love you.
And I think
Actually-
another thing too is Fletch has just been like a dad to him
Yeah.
practically. Like Fletch literally
And he's been
calls
great.
him every day and asks him what his weight is.
Fletch has been great this year.
Like yeah, and yeah, Fletch obviously you said it last week looks like
rejuvenated.
fucking 27 again.
It's
And
awesome.
It's awesome. But it's like I love seeing like the veterans take the young guys under their
Yeah.
wing.
Another
Like, that just makes everything easier. Like everybody's gonna gel more.
Absolutely. Another
just love
player
to
that
see it.
goes not unnoticed, but like kind of like under the radar on that line is Josh Sweat, who's amazing, and like he's just solid, man. Like
Milton Williams this year too.
yeah, and we haven't even seen Hassan Reddick really get involved yet. People say the thumb is still nagging him, and I'm sure as the season goes on, as long as he doesn't re-injure himself, that'll clear up. But like
Hey, he
it's
wants
just,
more money. He's gonna play it.
Yeah,
he's gonna play better.
It's just kind of like funny, like this defensive line is playing as well as it is, and the guy who led the NFL and he led the NFL in sacks last year, right? Or was it him or Bosa?
I think it was Bosa.
Yeah, I think it was both.
Second. The guy who was second in the league in sacks last year, like hasn't even woken up from his like off-season slumber yet. Because once Hassan Reddick gets in the swing of things and gets going, that defensive line, it's already wreaking havoc, but like it's going to be dangerous.
I mean, we
And I
said
think-
this on Bell and the Bird too, but we were like, yeah, Hassan Reddick needs to be thanking Jalen Carter and that rest of that interior defensive line because they are saving his ass
Yeah,
right
they-
now.
they
He's getting
very
chewed
much-
out.
Yes.
They have very much covered up his flaws so far.
I mean, I think it's also new it's gonna sound fucking
New defensive
yeah,
coordinator.
it's gonna sound like a fucking lame excuse, but
it's really not. Like we're talking about a team who went to the Super Bowl last year, and like you lost both coordinators. Like that is going to be a meshing process for the team. Like and yeah, like you have the preseason, you have the offseason, but that's only so much. Like the game is the game, and nothing prepares you for that more than playing it. So like maybe it truly will take a couple weeks to get them going. Like they're 3-0, which is it's awesome, and it's also funny because it still gives us a little bit to complain about because they haven't looked perfect. But like maybe by next week, who knows? They'll look fucking like they figured it all out. I mean, they play the Commanders, and Sam Howell was turning the ball over last week like it was nothing.
doing his best Josh Allen impersonation.
Yeah, exactly. So I can't see us not dominating that because that line is going to kill him. The only worry about the Eagles, I was about to say the Sixers. The only worry about the Eagles like is the defense is the secondary. It's a little banged up. Vontae Maddox. We said last week, unfortunately, he's like a walking IR stand at this point. Reed Blankenship, I think he's playing, but he got hurt, right?
No, he's good.
No, he's fine.
He didn't get hurt. Okay, I'm assuming.
He was hurt last week.
Oh, right. That's okay. Sidney Brown was it that got hurt?
I think Sidney was limited, or no, he was either limited or out in practice.
Right. So like it's just like little things picking up in the secondary. Like James Bradbury is back, so like that's awesome.
And you didn't hear a ton from Godwin, so I mean he was doing something right in the slot corner.
Yeah,
there.
absolutely. I love that he was willing to step up and fill in that role.
Well, yeah, that's the nice part about this. The guys on this team, it's like if they're asked to do something, they're not going to give you flack for it.
Yeah,
they're gonna. It's kind of like what the Phillies were talking about last night. It's like every guy on this team is ready to do anything Topper says. Any guy on that team will do anything for Nick Sirianni.
Right.
So it's like if he asks, you're going.
And that's the whole benefit of there was that whole debate about Nick Sirianni corny. Is it
he's
all
corny as
forced?
fuck
Is it
and it
fake?
works.
They love it, man. Like I think I might have brought this up last week. I don't remember, so forgive me if I did. But like, I vividly remember last year, Jason Kelsey talking about on his podcast a couple things. First, talking about how Nick Sirianni was one of the biggest reasons he didn't retire because he loved the culture that he built there. And then number
that was
two,
before the season even started.
and number two was a little bit more specific. He was talking about, I think it was in the playoffs, where he just went through a slideshow of every player on the team, like a picture of them playing football as a kid, and they were like, just remember like who you're doing this for, like where you started, like all that, and like that shit, to some people, they might be like, oh, that's so corny. But like the way Jason Kelce talked about it on that podcast, you could tell it meant a lot to him and the guys on the team. Like, for stuff like that. Like, it's little shit like that that is so important. Like, we see with the Phillies, with the 2017 Eagles, how important chemistry is on a team, in a locker room, any sport. And, like, you need a coach. Obviously, they got to be good at other things, but, like, you need a coach that's a true leader of men, someone that's going to build a culture and get these guys to go back to the having fun playing the sport and that kind of stuff. And it's so important. That's why I love Nick Sirianni as a coach. And anyone that wants to call him corny or pandering, go ahead. I really don't give a shit as long as he keeps these guys motivated and wanting to play for him.
Yeah. And I think that it shows an incredible level of maturity from him as a young head coach, because he looked at himself after the first year and was like, I need somebody to call the plays for me. I can't do all of this. Like, I'm not calling plays that well. And being a former offensive coordinator, it's like, are you really going to say that about yourself? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's like, but
I said that on WIP. I was like, people don't realize how big kahunas you have to have. And not only that, but to be that aware of yourself, to say to yourself, okay, I'm not doing this well. This is a little overwhelming. Let me hand off play calling duties to someone else. That's that's putting your ego in check. That's saying, you know what? I can't do it all, and I'm not going to act like I can. You got this, Shane Steichen.
And it brings me back again to the Phillies. It's like, that's what all of them do for Topper.
Yeah.
And that's what all the guys do for Nick.
Putting ego aside can be hard, especially in professional sports. Egos have played a large part in many stories across the sports. So it's nice to see that Nick Sirianni, like, doesn't fall victim to his pride and his ego.
We got to get him in a room with James Harden.
Yeah, I don't know if Rocky Balboa himself could motivate James Harden, but that's
probably kill him, right? That'll get us off the contract.
Beat the shit out of him. No, but yeah, Nick Sirianni, man, he's awesome. And sometimes I wish he would take the play calling back, but that's just, we'll see how. We'll see. We'll see how it progresses.
I'm fine with him keeping the play calling somebody else.
One thing I've noticed that, like, we had some people maybe on Twitter complaining and a little bit in our, like, group chat, like, about Jalen's running, and I think that there is a point to be made a little bit with him being more hesitant to run, like, scramble wise, like, he looks more hesitant. But there's also people that are like, where are all the designed runs? I want Jalen Hurts doing as little design runs as possible. We have, I don't want to say superstar, but we have a very good running back behind the best O-line in the league, and he has been crushing it so far. The Buccaneers might not, I know they're 2-1 now. They were supposed to be dog shit starting the season. They might not be the greatest team, but, like, they're, like, known for their run defense, and Swift looked great against them. So, like, we don't need Jalen.
Non-factor.
They were number one run defense.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we don't need Jalen to be running all over the place and hurting himself.
Yeah.
Designed runs, go to the running back. Every now and then, throw the defense off. But, yeah, Jalen could be a little bit more eager to run, like, scramble or roll out. But, like, at the end of the day, it's whatever, man. All I want is Jalen to be healthy more than anything.
People, how much did we pay Jalen in offseason? And y'all want him to run.
Right.
We already have people in the media saying we need to hit him hard.
Yeah, exactly.
And put a target on his back. Let's not put him out there on design runs.
You want your quarterback taking as little damage as possible.
Yeah, the Niners learned that the hard way.
Exactly.
Yeah, putting a tight end on the second best pass rusher in the NFL last year. Yeah, and then want to bitch and moan about how your quarterback got knocked out. Yeah, how about not putting a tight end on the second best pass rusher in the damn NFL?
That's the part of that whole thing I never understood. With I don't want to go off on a whole spiel about this, but that's the part I never understood about that whole thing with the Niners fans, where they were like, "Oh, well, our quarterback got injured." It's like, do you realize he didn't, like, get a non-contact knee injury? He got injured because you lined up a backup tight end on Hassan Reddick, and he crushed him. Now, when I played football, so, like, obviously not to this fucking level, but, like, basically, when you're on a football field on defense, you're trying to hit the person as hard as possible. You're not directly thinking, I want to injure them, but you're thinking, I'm about to blow this motherfucker up. So every time Hassan Reddick blew right past that bum-ass backup tight end, he was trying to level the fuck out of Brock Purdy. And that's on your team. You didn't protect him right. It's not like Brock Purdy fucking tripped and broke his ankle on the grass, or, had a non-contact ACL tear cutting. No, he got hurt because of your ineptitude putting a backup tight end on Hassan Reddick. I never understood that.
But Kyle Shanahan's the greatest offensive mind in sports.
I mean, he's very good. I respect Kyle Shanahan.
Yes.
No, I do too.
That was just a dumbass play call in this situation.
Absolutely. And I don't know. But again, Brock Purdy was playing like shit anyway. I'm still fully.
He still's only playing like shit. He only does short passes.
Yeah,
like I don't understand the hype with that man.
Well,
we talk
that one
NFL.
Debo pass was sick. I loved it for my fantasy team. I'll bring it up since you guys wouldn't stop fucking talking about it last week. But
yeah,
no, that was like the first long pass I think he's thrown successfully all year. He had a couple of
I'm not like
too, but
I'm not a hater of his because like it's a cool. Well, he plays for the Niners, so like fuck it. But like he is a cool story that like Mr. Irrelevant is succeeding. But like he's not
that
that
just
good.
reminds me of Tom Brady.
I am not sipping the Kool-Aid on Brock Purdy because 99.5% of his passes are just dump offs.
Mm-hmm.
It takes not that it takes no skill, but like. Put Zach Wilson in. I guarantee you, if you fucking took Zach Wilson and put him, I think Zach Wilson could easily do the same thing
in Kyle Shanahan's
that Brock
offense.
Purdy does in Kyle Shanahan's offense with those weapons.
It's Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson sucks, but you're missing the point, Pat.
No, I know.
It's
I'm just fucking with you.
dump-offs.
I know. I'm just fucking with you.
I think Zach Wilson could easily do the same thing.
Not only that, but look at the playmakers that he has. I mean,
Right.
Christian McCaffrey, the best receiving back out of the backfield. You have Deebo Samuel, who's a matchup
workhorse.
nightmare for anybody. Brandon Ayuk outside.
George Kittle.
Like George freaking Kittle, probably arguably the best tight end in the NFL. Like, how do you not succeed as a quarterback with those weapons?
Yeah, you could. Zach Wilson could do that job. So I'm not trying to be a hater, but like Brock Purdy still needs to show me more. Like, yeah, he's clearly winning, so like you can label him as a quote unquote winner. But like, let's see like some like talent. I don't know. I'm not saying he's untalented because I'm sitting here as an untalented person. But like, let's see him like prove it a little bit more. But other NFL news. You guys, we mentioned Taylor Swift in the beginning of the show. I know that everyone was annoyed as fuck because
it's just they're just beating a dead
they
horse.
tried to force it a little bit too much. But like,
man.
So
on fucking Red Zone, we got fucking Scott Hansen making Taylor Swift puns. I'm like, he's like, oh, Travis Kelce filled that blank space, and I was like, oh,
that
my
one was
fucking God,
did that one.
dude. No, but Scott did it again.
Yeah, that's.
I was sitting there. Just like listening to him, he was like, I don't know about you. At one point, he was like, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling 22. It was like, why? There's nothing.
See,
there's
like,
literally no reason.
It was even as a Taylor Swift fan, it was a bit overboard.
It's excessive.
But then, like on the other hand, I was like, the NFL's a business, and they probably just got so many people tune in that have never tuned into an NFL game ever before.
The Chiefs.
Not only
that game was like the most watched game.
Not only tune in.
Far.
But like people are buying a shit
Jerseys,
ton of Travis Kelce jerseys.
His jersey, I think, just went up. I think they talked about it on New Heights today. His jersey sales went up 400%. Jason, surprisingly, was the number one seller in women's NFL jerseys. I would imagine Travis took that spot because every fucking Swiftie is gonna buy a Travis Kelce jersey because that's their guy now. It's funny as shit.
Burn them when they break up right before the playoffs.
It is funny as shit to see like the TikTok trend that's going around right now where girls are like secretly recording their boyfriend being like, "Can you believe Taylor Swift put Travis Kelce on the map?" And the boyfriends are like, "What the fuck did you just say?" It's kind of a funny trend. Like obviously she didn't put him on the map, but like it's kind of undeniable that there were probably a lot of people that know Travis Kelce and they also know Taylor Swift. But I'm fully convinced that a lot of the people that are Taylor Swift fans probably did not know Travis Kelce. So in a way, she gave him more exposure, which I'm sure is like cool. He seems cool with it. I would be fucking cool if Taylor Swift was showing up to my game.
And banging me.
And yeah. Here's my, we're getting into the gossip hour. There's no way they haven't been dating for a little while because I don't see her showing up and like just like cheering and like acting in the manner that she did with his mom, like if they weren't already comfortable together.
Yeah.
So like that could not be the first time like they've met or they've like hung out or whatever. Maybe they're not even dating, who knows, but like that was not the first time.
Low key. That's what I'm hanging on to a little bit. I think it's just all a fucking media thing. I think
Taylor
Swift would just be funny.
Taylor Swift does not need any media attention.
No, but I think it would just be funny.
I mean, yeah, it would be funny, but like think of the logic. She is the most famous person on the earth right now. I don't think she needs like marketing or media.
Yeah, but Travis wanted to get bigger than Jason.
Baby.
He wanted the number one women's selling jersey. So what did he do? He went out and got Taylor Swift.
That's the real benchmark of a great NFL player. How many women's jerseys you sell?
I'm not going to lie though. I did call Taylor Swift a traitor.
She should have been wearing a Birds jersey.
That would have been hilarious.
That's fucking ridiculous.
She should have worn a Jason Kelce jersey because that would have been fucking perfect.
I can't blame her if she's dating the dude, right? You can't really blame her for wearing his jersey.
Yeah, but that would have been
also like
perfect.
I feel like Travis Kelce is the one not the one, but like one of the biggest non-Eagles that like all Eagles fans get behind him because he's like a cousin. Like he's not part of the family like all the way, but like he's over there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, and we love him, and he comes to Eagles games and he puts Birds jerseys on when he comes to watch Jason.
I still think one of my favorite clips of him on New Heights is him saying that every time he goes to the link, he makes sure to dress head to toe in fucking Eagles gear so he doesn't get beat the fuck up.
Like the thing is, I feel like even if Travis Kelce came in a Chiefs jersey, like his own, not that he would ever wear his own jersey, I doubt it, but like people would still like shower him with love. I feel like he's just loved. Which is
he
like,
gets some shit, which would be cool.
People
he
might
gets some
fuck him
shit,
a little bit.
Yeah.
But anyway, like I can't blame the NFL for seizing the opportunity to beat this to death because they're trying to get all these. Dude, like the amount of TikToks my girlfriend has sent me, you know, she's a big Taylor Swift fan as well. Just like all these tweets of like Taylor Swift fans being like, wait, guys, so like what is a down? What is a down?
Or like
those
are great.
All these TikToks now, which it'll be like the NFL simplified. Like my girlfriend sent me one and it was all like the positions like not dumbed down, but like explained in the simplest terms.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just funny as shit to see these two worlds collide that you would never in a million years predict.
I will say though, there are some Swift fans that are taking it a bit too far. Like they're taking the astrology shit.
Oh my God,
and
that
was
was
they're matching up like
that
their birthdays and how compatible they are. And I'm just like, okay, y'all have gone way too far with this.
Yeah, and then that was one of the funniest things I've ever seen, honestly, because it was just like it was literally like 3 paragraphs about like how compatible.
Did you guys see the one about the girl that posted like trigger warning assault, and it was the video of Travis getting into a fight and in camp with one of his teammates, and like this Swiftie made a whole tweet where it was I don't remember from word for word, but it was like trigger warning assault. It was like, this is Travis Kelce, who Taylor's dating now. He got in an argument with one of his teammates and threw a punch at him. This is someone who clearly can't control their emotions, and you guys wonder why I'm worried about him being with Taylor. It's like you people are it's like you're a psycho. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, oh yeah, he's gonna beat women because he got in a fight with a teammate in like basically what is Roman gladiators of the modern age.
It's just guys being dudes.
Just guys being dudes, right? That was a funny ass story. And also, real quick, Flyers update. They go down 1-0 in the. Dude, the funniest shit the other day was someone made a joke. I think it was on Monday during the Eagles game. It was like, don't care about the Eagles. The Flyers preseason opener is tonight.
3 minutes into the game.
3 minutes into the game, they went down 3-0. It was just hilarious. It was the Flyers. If you can't appreciate anything about them, just appreciate that they're consistently horrible and mediocre.
I appreciate Torts. That's it.
Yeah, I guess
he's funny.
Oh, he's a walking sound drop.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's all I appreciate about them.
College football, I feel like real quick before we wrap up in a little bit, I have to address.
I'm gonna go to sleep now,
I fell flat on my face with the Colorado thing.
That's so funny.
It's okay. We'll take an L for this week. It's okay.
In all fairness, if you remember,
two of them going for Heismans.
In all fairness, I said that I wouldn't have been surprised if they beat Oregon. I never said they were going to, because I picked Oregon to win the game, but like I didn't think it was going to be as bad as it was.
Yeah, I put my chest out there.
I didn't think it was going to be as bad as it was.
Did you?
I did.
Oh man,
I put my chest out there.
Hey, at least you stood by it.
I did think it was kind of funny. You know, the other coach. The speech he gave about they're playing for clicks, we're playing for wins.
That was cute.
It was kind of funny.
I thought it was funny.
It wasn't like, see, that's the kind of shit I can get behind, like shit talking like that. That Colorado State coach basically implying that Deion wasn't raised right because that's fucked.
Yeah,
like,
that was
shut
that
up.
Was cool.
That's not like in good nature at all. Like that's fucking whack. But like the Oregon thing it's fine. You're firing your team up, but like, dude, they dog walked them, beat the shit out of them, and like that was always the thing. Like, my thinking on Colorado, I like them. They're fun. It's awesome that Deion has turned this program around this quick. They're going to shatter their win expectations or win total from the beginning of the season. But like, they're still a year away from like truly succeeding. Like, there's so much to be built on that team still. They got to build in the trenches. They got to build a defense. They have Shedeur. They have Travis Hunter. Like, they have the weapons, but they are not a complete team yet. And unfortunately, it showed against Oregon, and I have a feeling it's going to show again against USC, because if they couldn't stop that Oregon offense, they are going to get put in a blender by Caleb Williams and USC.
Yeah.
So,
so you betting on this week, Ty?
The hype train's most likely going to die.
I'm just going to shut the hell up.
Yeah, college. Listen, I love too that all the people that are like, college football games are bullshit. You know, you have Alabama playing Colgate and it ends 62-7. Yeah, well, an NFL game this weekend ended 70-20. You motherfuckers. So,
well, that's because the Broncos need to get relegated.
Broncos country. Let's die. Dude, we'll wrap up after this, but that's one of the most.
That game was comical.
Is that the most embarrassing thing of all time?
Oh, easily.
That was the first time an NFL team has scored 70 points since 1966.
Yeah.
That is. Dude, also, I'm sorry. Fuck Mike McDaniel for not taking the record. You're telling me you're getting on your high horse. You're acting all high and mighty like, oh, we don't want to do that to them. You scored 70 points. You're up by 50, and now it's too much.
But they didn't.
What the fuck do you mean,
score 70.
bro?
They literally didn't try to.
But
It was Robbie Anderson and fucking a chain
Robbie
of garbage. Yeah, sorry, Robbie Anderson catching a fucking touchdown. Like,
no, but like, how
is that trying?
That's an absurd statement. Like, oh, we didn't want to embarrass them. My guy, if you didn't want to embarrass them, you should have benched your starters after halftime. Like, it's a little too late for that, Mike. You might as well have took the fucking record and say you're going to sit on your high horse and be like, we didn't want to. I'd hope that in the same position, someone else would do that for me. Like, are you insane, man?
But Vince, the Broncos came back last week when they were down like 30.
Yeah, you really got to make you got to make sure they're down. You know, beating them by 50. That solidifies the game is over. And the last thing, if I was a Bears fan, I would be on suicide watch.
I already shot myself in the head.
Yeah. Dude, the existence of a Bears fan sucks. And like, if there's by any chance, a Bears fan listening to this, I feel for you. I don't even mean this.
One of my buddies that listens is actually a Bears fan.
Okay, Pat's buddy. I don't even mean this in a sarcastic way. Like, I genuinely feel awful for Bears fans.
No,
like,
I'm gonna give him shit.
Give him shit because it's all in good fun. But
man,
like,
that's not fair,
dude. It's a goddamn shame what is going on with that franchise. I mean, they got embarrassed too. Well, listen, they're lucky the Broncos lost by as much as they did because it kind of took the attention off them being as bad as they were this week also. And they were against the Chiefs, whatever, but like, they're lucky the Broncos lost by 50 because otherwise we would be talking even more about how pathetic the Bears are.
Coordinators being investigated by the FBI. Like, what the hell is going on over there in Chicago?
Man. Justin Fields is not the guy, unfortunately. I thought he would be. Liked him in college. But
I just think he just got a bad rep, just being over there in Chicago, bad coaches. I really think he needs a change of environment.
It's a mix, man. I completely agree. Like, I think that there's something about Chicago that just ruins quarterbacks.
Yeah. I mean, you look at Jay Cutler. Like, he just is Jay
Cutler. Jay Cutler ruined himself before he got to Chicago.
Do you guys know if Justin Jefferson was on the Bears and retired right now, he'd be the Bears' all-time leader in receiving yards?
Fuck.
Do you know how fucking insane that is? Justin Jefferson's what, like 4 years in the league?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And he'd already be the Bears' all-time receiving leader. The Bears have never had the Bears have never had a 4,000-yard passer in the history of that franchise. And think about how old that franchise is. They've never had that. So
they're like the Phillies of the NFL.
They kind of are. And it sucks for like Bears fans our age because like boomer Bears fans can at least like die on the hill. They saw the 85 Bears.
Mm-hmm.
Bears fans our age know nothing but legit misery.
Yeah.
Like, even worse than the Cowboys, because the Cowboys, at least, like, 96, maybe if you're a little bit older than us, you saw them win one. But, like, if you're a Bears fan, you have to be in your 50s to have ever seen your team win. That's a goddamn shame. But anyway, the Eagles up the Commanders this week. I predict that should be, I think, an easy win. I think this is, I'm predicting it now, this is the week the Eagles start clicking. Jalen Hurts throws for, like, 300 yards, a couple touchdowns, and we just bury the Commanders.
Yeah. No,
that's
I'm right
how I
there
feel.
with you.
I'm feeling like I'm feeling a bunch of sacks are coming in this game.
Although I do think we're going to have a tough time running the ball because they have a very good D-line.
Hey, that's why I said
Payne didn't jump, man.
That's why I said Jalen goes for 300 passing yards.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like Devontae tore them up last year, so I think we're going to be fine there.
Absolutely. All right, well, that's all I got. Thank you guys for listening. Seamus, rest in peace. We miss you, bud. No, I'm just kidding. We'll see you next week, hopefully, Sham. And we will talk to all you guys next week. After that, we'll have already seen the wild card. So hopefully we're talking to you guys about the Phillies advancing and another Eagles dub. So we'll talk to you guys next week. Peace out.
Go Birds, go Phils.